In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 pickup trucks in the half-ton segment when it comes to tech, comfort, as well as reliability. I'm going to be going over trim options with pricing. I'm going to go over engine options as well. Without any further ado, let's get right into it and start with the first truck here on my list. So for number 1 on my list, we've got the Ford F-150. So when it comes to tech, Ford has taken tech to the next level. You get a 12-inch digital gauge cluster and a 15.5-inch touchscreen in the dash. Sync 4 with wireless, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto keeps you connected, while you can get a Pro Power onboard system in your truck at the back, which is basically like a mobile generator with up to 7.2 kilowatts of juice. Basically it means you can run tools, charge up an RV, or even power a tailgate party if you wish. For off-roaders, Ford has got you covered also with a Tremor trim with trail control and skid plates if you need. When it comes to comfort, I would say the F-150 is a very comfortable truck. You can ride in comfort there, and you can also take breaks with max recline folding seats that is available on higher trim options. So basically the whole seat will form a flat surface so you can lay down. You can get heated and ventilated seats as well as heated rear seats, and you can also get in the higher trims leather also with massaging seats. When it comes to quiet sound deadening, I would say the cabin is very quiet, and if you are driving, you can't really hear a ton of road noise. Now, trim levels, you get starting here with a XL trim, you get the STX trim, XLT, Lariat, King Ranch, Platinum, Tremor, Raptor, and the Raptor R. Cab configurations, you can get a regular cab, Super Crew, and then depending on the choice, you can get a 5.5 foot bed, 6.5 foot bed, or 8 foot bed. Now, here are some engine options. You get the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6. You can get a 5 liter V8, 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6. You can get the high output as well on that. You can get also a 3.5 liter Power Boost, which is the hybrid. And then you can also get a 5.2 liter supercharged V8, which is pretty awesome. All engines will come with a 10-speed automatic. Now, when it comes to the good, you get proven reliability with Ford. I would say they've been refining the F-150 for decades. Aluminum body helps reduce weight, and then you get a wide range of engine options. And then the 10-speed auto is a definite, I would say, a great transmission. Now, the bad, I would say the EcoBoost can have some turbo issues there, so I would highly recommend maybe sometimes not keeping it for a long time. The aluminum body, since it has weight savings, the aluminum itself is expensive, so getting that repaired can be costly. And then sometimes you can get some electrical gremlins in there, so when it comes to infotainment nowadays in trucks, it can get glitchy. Some people have complained about clunkiness in the transmission as well. One other thing to note is dealers. So there's about 2,851 dealers in the USA when it comes to servicing your Ford, and I don't think a lot of people really think about that because they just buy a truck and then to hell with it. But having that ability to know where a dealership is when you need to service it, I think is very important. So now I have put here reviews from Edmunds. So Edmunds consumer reviews are rating it a 4.2 out of 5. So overall, I would say the F-150 on my list here is a good contender in the truck market, and that's why here I have put it number 1. So number 2 on my list, I have the Chevy Silverado. So when it comes to tech, Chevy has definitely stepped up their game in the new refreshed trucks. Right up front, you can get a 13.4-inch touchscreen running Google built in. Plus, you can get a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster with voice commands and all the apps at your fingertips. Of course, you can get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are standard. You can also get a 15-inch head-up display right on the windshield in higher trims. Chevy's also got the multi-flex tailgate that basically can turn the back of your truck into a workbench. And also it gives you a step, which is a nice thing to have to get into the back of the bed. And the nice thing is also inside you get 14 camera angles, and I do have to say the camera quality is really good. Now when it comes to comfort, Chevy wants you to feel basic at home with nicely designed seats. I would say they're supportive. While they do lack a little bit of comfort, I do have to say I still think they look pretty good. Packed with good leather and real wood trim, and you can get massaging seats in higher trims. They are heated and ventilated in higher trims, and you also get heated rear seats. Now, pricing and trims. So the work truck will start you around $47,000. You can get a custom Trail Boss, LT, RST, LT Trail Boss, LTZ, High Country, and the ZR2. The ZR2 is a beautiful off-road trim, and that will run you though high 80s. Cab configurations, you can get a regular cab, a double cab, and a crew cab. And then depending on those choices, you can get a 5.5 foot bed, 6.5, and 8 foot long bed. Now engine options, you can get a turbocharged 2.7 4-cylinder, which I would only recommend if you are just caring about fuel economy and you just want a truck to say you have a truck. You get the 5-liter V8, 6.2-liter V8, and then you get a 3-liter turbo diesel 6-cylinder, which is a great option to have, I would say. All engine options do come with a 10-speed. Now when it comes about reliability, or comes to reliability, I would say the V8s do have some reliability. I would stick with the 5.3 liter. The 6.2s right now are having a little bit of some issues. I'll get into that. Duramax diesel engine option, which is awesome for the half-ton segment. You can also get an EV now, so the Silverado EV gives you that option to give you, an EV truck. And then traditional steel construction, so high-strength steel is basically the frame of the truck, of the Chevy, GM truck. They do give you some aluminum body panels there, but the nice thing is they still give you that high-strength steel. The bad. So with Chevy's active fuel management and the dynamic fuel management that came out, I believe, in 2019, they're having some issues right now with camshafts and some excessive wear on lifters. Now, the 6.2 liter V8, this is where I'm going to get into the L87 engine in full-size trucks, model years of 2018 to 2024 and probably 25. They're having some pretty bad engine failures, I would say, including bearing and connecting rods. They basically breach the engine block, which is obviously not a good sign. And then what I would recommend is getting a 5.3 right now. I mean, the 6.2, I haven't heard of anyone personally who has the 6.2 that's having engine failures, but I've read online some people are having that issue. So I would, just be aware of that. Interior electronics as well. People say that they can get glitchy, so that's one thing to note. And then I was saying the seat comfort too. I think the seats don't have that plushness that maybe the F-150 or a Ram has, but I would say the overall design is pretty good. So here are the consumer reviews on Edmunds that I've pulled. They are rating it 4.4 out of 5 stars, which is pretty incredible. I think it's still a great truck, and I would still say it is a great contender in today's truck market. So number 3 on my list, I have put the GMC Sierra. So we'll start here with tech. The GMC Sierra packs a 13.4 inch touchscreen inside, plus you still get that 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also, in the higher trims, can get a 15-inch head-up display right on the windshield, which is pretty awesome. Let's talk about a little bit of autonomous driving. You can get Super Cruise as well. It does come with adaptive cruise control in the higher trims too, but Super Cruise is basically an autonomous driving, so you can get that in the Silverado as well for higher trims. And for the worksite people, I would say, even just in general, the Multi-Pro tailgate is a great tailgate that basically turns into a step. You can get Pro onboard power in the back, so a 120 in the back to power your tools and whatnot. Now, if you want comfort, I would say the Sierra is a little bit more luxurious than the Silverado. When you go into the Denali Ultimate or just in the higher trims, you get beautiful leather, real open pore wood, and best of all, you can get massaging seats, as well as that 15-inch heads-up display. Heated and ventilated seats are standard on higher trims, and if you go all out, especially with the AT4X, you get a AEV off-road upgrade, which is basically metal bumpers, beefed up suspension, which is pretty awesome. And GMC also has cranked up the quiet factor, so when it comes to sound deadening, you get a quiet cabin. Trim levels. So starting with the Pro, you're going to be around 40,000. You go Pro, SLE, Elevation, SLT, AT4, Denali, AT4X, and then you can get the Denali Ultimate. Cab configurations, you can get regular cab, double cab, and crew cab. You can get different bed sizes, so you get a 5.5 foot bed, 6.5 foot bed, as well as an 8 foot bed. Engine options are the same here on GMC compared to the Chevy, so you get the 2.7 liter turbo inline 4, 5.3 liter V8, 3 liter turbo diesel Duramax. You get the 6.2 liter V8 as well. Transmissions, all engines come with the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, when it comes to reliability, I would say that the GMC is basically the same when it comes to tech and the engine. GMC is still having those issues as well with the 6.2. It's a GM motor. So one thing to note, I would probably stick with the 5.3 for a little bit. But like I was saying, I haven't heard anyone that I know in my close circle of people who have the 6.2 that have that engine failure. I mean, I don't know if it is a select few amount of trucks, but you know, it is ranging from 2019 from 2024, I would say. So one thing to note. And then interior electronics, I would say, just be wary of that. I mean, nowadays you got so much tech in there, something's bound to happen when it comes to glitching. And then seat comfort, I would say the seats as well in the GMC can be improved when it comes to comfort. They're a little bit too firm, I would say, and lack that comfort for long drives. So one other thing to note is GM, when it comes to dealerships, they have about 4,000 in the USA. So when it comes to servicing that truck, you know, 4,000 dealerships around the country gives you a lot of servicing areas. So that is number 3 on my list. Now I have put reviews here from Edmunds. Edmunds consumers are rating it a 3.4 out of 5 stars. So that is one thing to note. You know, if you want to read more about what consumers are talking about on the GMC side of things, read the comments, but I'm just giving you this here for a reference, so it's not just me. These are other people talking about this truck as well. So that is number 3 on my list. Let's head to number 4. So number 4 here I have on my list is the Ram 1500. So starting inside with technology, you've got a 14.5-inch touchscreen, one of the biggest in its class for sure, and it is vertically integrated, running the latest Uconnect 5 system. I would say it's fast and fully customizable, and of course you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, because obviously no one wants cables anymore. The Ram 1500 also offers active driving assist system, basically a semi-autonomous driving mode for highway cruising. It also has a full 360 camera, which you can get, and a digital rear view mirror for your blind spots like GM's. Ram also has a trailer reverse steering control system, so that will help you back up a trailer with ease. When it comes to comfort, however, Ram has a really nice interior, and the leather and the appointed parts of that interior are beautiful. You get real leather seats, open pore wood, and a massive panoramic moonroof in higher trims. If you do go all out with the limited or tungsten trims, you can get massaging front seats and heated and ventilated seats in the front and also in the rear that also recline. They've also made the cabin a lot quieter, I do have to say, with active noise cancellation. Now when it comes to pricing and trims, the Tradesman, which is the start, will run you about $43,000. You can get up to a Bighorn, Laramie, Rebel, Limited Longhorn, and Tungsten, and then Tungsten will run you about $90,000. For the cab configuration and bed sizes, you can get a quad cab that gives you about a 6.5 foot bed, or a crew cab with a 5.5 foot bed. Now engine options. Unfortunately, Ram has gotten rid of the 5.7 liter Hemi, which I think it was a very bad decision on their part. They've added a twin turbo 3 liter inline 6 cylinder. We'll get to that. So you can start with a 3.6 liter V6. You can get the 3 liter twin turbo inline 6, which is the Hurricane, which they call it. And then you can get the 3 liter high output twin turbocharged inline 6, which is for its off-road variation Ram Row, or you can get it on the limited Longhorn or Tungsten. Now all engines come with the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now when it comes to the good for reliability, I would say Ram has about 2,500 dealers in the US, so serviceability is pretty good. I would say the coil spring rear suspension provides a smoother ride for people who are driving the truck. The interior, for durability, it has a well-built quality interior, I would say, and it holds up a little bit better than maybe Ford or GM. And then the frame is a high-strength steel, so that is also a great thing. Now the bad. I would say the new twin turbo was just a bad idea. Replacing the Hemi means really there's no long-term track record yet of this engine being reliable. And, you know, turbochargers down the road, if they need to be fixed, can be costly. Air suspension in the back. It can be a good thing, but I would say mostly the airbags can be a high cost when they need to be fixed. And if they do blow out and if they fail, that is also a big issue too. Right now, Ram says that there is a recall on about 34,000 trucks due to damaged front wheel bearing encoder rings. And then the transmission too, some people are saying that the 8-speed, it has been for a while. I would say it has a little bit of a rough shifting, especially when you're slowing down and coming to a stop. It's a little, rough. And then some people have just reported general roughness during acceleration too. So kind of like the F-150. Electrical issues, everyone has that. Stellantis is saying that the infotainment can glitch, and I have witnessed it too. This was back in 2019. The screen, if it glitches out, then you have that massive screen gone. So that is for the Ram. And what I have included here also is the Edmunds customer reviews here. So they're rating it a 3.4 out of 5 stars. So this is something you can go off and read some of the consumer reviews, some of the good and some of the bad, just so you have an idea about the truck for 2025. Alrighty, everybody, last on my list here I have, for number 5, the Toyota Tundra. I never thought I would put a Toyota last here on a truck list, especially the reliability they built up for the last, 3-4 decades. So let's start with technology. Toyota, right in the center, you've got a massive 14-inch touchscreen running the latest Toyota audio multimedia system. I would say it's fast and fully supports the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so again, no need to mess with any cords. And for long hauls, for sure, the Toyota's Advanced Driver Assist package, featuring the adaptive cruise control, lane centering, and full 360 camera will help a lot. Speaking about trailers, backing up a trailer, you get a trailer backup guide with straight path assist, so taking the stress out of backing up a trailer, you can use that to help. Now when it comes to comfort, I would say they've stepped up their game for the new redesigned truck that came out years ago. The Platinum and 1794 edition trims come with really nice premium leather and real wood accents, and even a panoramic moonroof. And if you go with the capstone trim, you're getting a really nice, beautiful leather, acoustic glass, and a full digital review mirror for a luxury experience. Of course, you've got heated and ventilated front and rear seats, so whether it's freezing, cold, or blazing hot, the Tundra will keep you comfortable. Toyota also is focused on making the ride quieter, so adding that insulation and active noise cancellation will help. Now for trims here, we'll start with the SR trim, which run you about $45,000. And then you can go to SR5, Limited, Platinum, 1794 Edition, TRD Pro, which is a great off-road truck, and then the Capstone trim will run you about $80,000. The cab configurations and bed sizes, so no more regular cab. You can get a double cab, a 6.5 foot bed in that, or an 8 foot bed, and then the Crew Max, which is the crew cab, you can get a 5.5 foot bed and a 6.5 foot bed. Now, with engine options, they have gotten rid of their V8, and this has been a big problem with Toyota. So equipped now is a 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, and that is available in a iForce V6, and then you can get an iForce Max hybrid. So that's only available on the Limited, Platinum, and the higher trims. All drivetrains do come with a 10-speed auto, which is great. Now, when it comes to reliability, I'll start with the good. So Toyota has built up that legendary reliability when it comes to their trucks. So the turbo V6s can have a good reputation. Fully boxed steel frame, which is awesome. Proven hybrid tech as well. And there's no active fuel management or dynamic fuel management. So, down the road, if there's any issues, you don't have any of those systems. Now, the biggest part of the problem with Toyota, this is why I've rated it the last part of it, is the powertrain is not known, and the twin turbo V6s that replace the V8s, while they are powerful and forced induction, it can be a pain in the butt for maintenance. Now, the biggest thing when it comes to Toyota is the primary issues. This is why it's last on my list, is they're just having a massive amount of reliability issues when it comes with this engine. So there is a significant recall affecting a large number of these vehicles due to potential engine failures caused by manufacturing debris left inside the engine, leading to Toyota needing to replace engines in many affected Tundras. This recall also impacts the Lexus brands as well. So the problem is they only have this engine, so they don't have like a V8 to substitute it with. And this is why, obviously, with the GM having engine failures, potentially with the 6.2, they have other engine options. The Toyota doesn't have an engine option other than that iForce twin turbo V6. So this is why it's kind of last on my list, because you're leaving drivers screwed. They can't drive their truck, right? Even with the Tacoma, they're having some issues with that too. The first gen hybrid reliability is also a problem right now, so people are having issues with the reliability of that. They have a more complex rear suspension now, so they have a coil suspension, which you can get airbags to, like the Ram. That also can be an issue. Now, when it comes to servicing the Toyotas as well, you got about almost 1,300 dealerships in the US to service. So when your truck breaks down, you don't have as much as obviously Ford, GM, or obviously Chrysler. Now, I have put ratings here from Edmunds, and Edmunds is rating it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is a little bit better than the Ram, but with having that engine failure issue, I think this is going to cause a lot of problems, which it already has been, and consumers are pissed. So there you have it, folks. My top 5 pickup trucks in the half-ton segment. Let me know what you think about that list in the comments. You know, if I missed anything or should I add something else. Personally, I've reviewed 3 or 4 of these trucks and I've driven them as well. So I like all of them, and pretty much when I'm reading what they have, all of them come with basically the same items. It's just really going to come down to the end user. So hopefully that helps everyone, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers.